So Max B is fresh home, right? Has it been 48 hours? It feels like everywhere you turn, you're going to see Max B on social media right now. You see clips of him everywhere in the jewelry store, at a birthday party with French, in the club doing a performance, at the Jets football game. And the footage is just everywhere, right? So he's got cameramen following. This isn't one of those come home, discreetly underneath, the radar type of situations. He's being thrust into the public very, very fast. And at the same time, it's been a pretty anticipated come home for a very significant hip hop figure. All right. Max B is a big name in hip hop. So I'm not surprised. And from a promotional and a marketing standpoint, makes a lot of sense to just see him just boom like this. You know, uh, was Bobby Smurder's like this? I don't remember it being to the point where it's like everywhere you turn, you're popping up on 50 Cent's Instagram. But with all of this comes, of course, drama. So you have past beefs, you have snitching allegations, you have jealousy, you have a lot. And to see within like 48 hours of this guy being home, all these different topics coming up around his name, good, bad, the ugly, he should have expected it though. Him and his camp absolutely should have been paying attention to that and prepared for that. The snitching thing will probably always be one of the biggest things because as a rapper, if you have that on your jacket, you're supposed to be done your credibility. But then again, 6ix9ine would probably tell a different tale, right? You're supposed to be done. The street beefs, of course, people running around New York bumping into each other if they have differences and issues. It's always something to keep on the radar, right? I'm gonna walk down all of this stuff. All right. So before we get into some of the bad, let's look at some of the good. Once again, welcome home, Max. Just some footage of him uh field side, down on the ground, looking good out here. They got him head to toe in some Louis Vuitton, put some jewelry on him, got him looking like a rapper fresh out. There you go.
Bigger Val, New York, New York.
Yes, sir.
Fresh out the can.
Damn.
Over 18 stretch.
Damn.
They gave me 7 and 5, but I'm back.
Yes, sir. You're back.
Max Bigger Val, New York, New York.
Yes, sir.
Fresh out the can.
All right. Yeah, and I saw Method Man was there doing like press photo ops for the game and took pictures of Max B, and it looked good. It looked real, real, real good. I saw this as well. This looked like a club appearance. There's no way you're going to get me to believe that this wasn't a paid for appearance. So they already got him working, it seems. And I also saw footage of him pulling up in front. Looks like he was out there with friends. They pulled up in a Rolls Royce, big cars, luxury vehicles, a lot of security walking them to the club as well, which should be the case. All right. It is a new day as well. I mean, you running around Harlem talking about she loves me not, she loves me, she loves me not, Max B. Those days are over. Actually, they was over back then, but fast forward today, it's finally cool to have security guards with you, and you're a guy that should be walking around with security guards as well. I'm not trying to force it. I'm not trying to hype it, but you should and stay like that. But this was a club appearance. It looks like on the walk-in. Hey, 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 hey. To hear some of the crowd singing along to his old music like that, it's Max B. It's dope to see. Musically, he's a great from the era that he was on the scene. Sonically, he's that guy. You got to give the Mr. Wavy Silver Surfer his props and his kudos when it comes to making music. So I have all the thoughts in my mind like he's going to be fine on the music side. All right, it's not like he's going to have a problem connecting. There's obviously a wave of people that's still coming from that era that would support him at this point, so I don't think he's going to have that issue at all. But speaking of issues, so let's revisit first the Mano thing, right? Shout out to my boy Harlem Legend too, man. You know, staying on the job of his clips. But we just covered this last week, right?
I can't go to the Max B party because you're my friend.
All right, love you, Uncle.
It's wet.
This feels nice. This is nice. No, they gave me the one. Kick off at 1 o'clock. We outside.
So I believe they said he went straight from prison to the game. Then they got him dressed up, got him cleaned up or whatever, and then went straight to the game. I also saw a stat that the Jets didn't win a home game since like January, and then they happened to win this game. So hey, that's a fun little come home. But who else was field side like that? Mano. You see the picture right next to it, right? Mano was there. And that clip with Mano speaking on that podcast with him, Dave East, Fab, Jim Jones, that was a very, I like the way that question came about. And I loved and respected Mano's answer. It's just how things go. You're with who you're with. Loyalty is loyalty. The moment that you can't have loyalty amongst people that you call your brothers or your family, like, what are you doing out here then? Like, hang yourself, type shit. You know what I mean? But there's actually a clip that came out that further shows the energy between even this situation. And Mano doesn't have direct problems with Max B, but you do inherit this type of stuff because of how thick Max B and Jim Jones's energy is, right? So here's the audio clip that came out. So supposedly, you know, they're at the game, you know, they eating, hanging out or whatever. A call comes in to somebody that Max is with. And Max, and the guys telling Max about Mano calling the guy, but they're live. And this is all picked up on audio. You know, you gotta be careful when these live, people's on live and people talk about private shit that's off the record, that's not supposed to be for the internet. But Mano's response is what I expect. But now Max B gets to see right there in real time what the energy is and get reminded of the moving around amongst these different people. And everybody's in the same area.
So, Mano, oh yeah,
he's supposed to be pulling
he's
up.
on the field. Mano said, yo, bloody, what you doing? I said, I'm with Max. He said, oh.
So French kind of raised his eyebrows a little bit.
I said, eat it. He said,
Max, you ready?
You ready?
oh.
Yeah, told him we on live. We on live. Then you're gonna see Max B start to deflect and almost like change the topic a little bit here.
Guys, pause.
My fault. No, just got on.
Guys, everybody just solid right here. We out. I'm eating this shit. There's slaughter going on. Where we going? We leaving?
Green room.
The green room?
The owner, and then if you want to stay, you can stay.
Owner?
You need to leave.
That's fire. Sounds like a representative of the organization that's there saying, hey, come to the green room or meet the owner. So he's being treated with that VIP status, him and French out there having a good old time. But once again, that phone call, it shows it. Now, Mano, you almost got caught if you wasn't being a real nigga. You know, you better not bump into this guy when Jim's not around and hug. Hey, welcome home, Max B. Welcome. Here's a big hug and everything because they acting like the Jet shit is the party that Mano said he could never attend. But Mano, I believe, went on his social media and cleared it up. Like, I wasn't invited by none of these niggas. I wasn't with none of these niggas. I was invited by the player that he took the picture next to. You know what I'm saying? So they just happened to be in the same place. But just that fast, within 48 hours of being outside, you are allegedly yards, if not feet, whatever, away from a potential enemy. I ain't trying to hype it, but the energy is the energy, right? And we're going to get to the gym piece in a second. But before we go to the gym piece, let's go to the one that could be obviously way more detrimental to a rapper's image and ability to be out here, you know, representing what the average rapper represents. And that is the snitch allegations. Okay. Now, I'm not going to play this whole video, of course. I think we're going to play like maybe 2 minutes of this right here. I want to give a big salute and shout out to my man Doggy Diamonds with this coverage. This video came out in 2021. Okay, the guy on the right here, Pooh Sims, that was the alleged. Should I say alleged? No, he's convicted, right? That was the shooter in this situation. Connected to Max B having to serve this 17 years in the first place. He's the one that actually let the shots off that took a life that day in that hotel room. Doggy Diamonds interviews him. Now, before I click play on just this little quick clip that we're going to look at the chapters, right? This was going around back then. It became controversial, but look at the chapter names. What happened? How did you incriminate? What's after that? What's after how do you incriminate? Where is Gina Conway? Gina Conway, they say, is the stripper and the ex-girlfriend of Max B that pretty much lined the whole shit up. You know, she's in the, like, for example, she's in the strip club, she's working, she sees a lick, she gives the drop to Max B. So it's actually Max B's brother and her that actually are on feet on land, you know what I'm saying, pulling off the lick. Max B's allegedly masterminding it from being out the way. He's not there. But, you know, robberies don't always go as planned, and the man loses his life. That was the alleged, you know, victim or the target, right? So that's Gina Conway. But where is Gina Conway? I also saw that she's home right now, but we'll get to her in a second as well. Why did Max B get so much time? That's a chapter. Interview with Pooh Sims. Pooh's trial transcripts, phone records, French Montana in court. Pooh's fan base, Max B responds, no offer. Max B's lawyer, no offer. Great content for Doggy Diamonds to get. So if anybody's interested, come over to Doggy Diamonds TV channel. Watch this whole interview of dude. But hold on. The piece that we're gonna go to though is this chapter. The last conversation with Max B.
With Max.
Since, like I said, since we blew trial before we blew trial, I put the paperwork inside of Hip Hop Weekly magazine and I sent it to mad different people. I sent it to Prodigy, Remy Ma, D from Rough Riders, Lil Wayne. They was all locked up. Lil Wayne was on Rikers Island for his gun charge. Prodigy was upstate, mid-state for his gun charge at the time. Remy Ma was locked up for her situation. D from Rough Riders got locked up in Bergen County for a situation I'm not sure about, but he was in the county. So I made sure I sent it to all these people so I could get the word out. Mm-hmm. And I put it in the magazine. The only one that said something about it was Prodigy. He hit me back. I got the letter. That's what I put up on my Instagram at the Real Pooh Sims. He hit me back, and Max B had to go do like a show or something up in Queens. Long story short, I guess, you know, he let it be known what it was. Max ended up going up there. He got hit beside his head with a Hennessy bottle. He chased him out of Queens. So yeah, like this thing been out there. Like this ain't nothing new.
Got you. So at your trial, so Max was trying to say he had nothing to do with it. Did they split y'all trial or y'all all was same?
Nah, no. I'm glad you asked that. I tried to get our trial severed.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't work. They denied the motion. So me and Max had to go to trial together.
Now remember, people, getting severed from each other is not always a bad thing. We just saw OTF Didi attempt to sever from Lil Durk and everybody else, and his lawyer brought about the motion saying the text message evidence that's being used against Didi, you know, is a thread of alleged threats towards, you know, another person that was being targeted by Durk. And he never responded in it. So if that's coming into trial and you guys have us all in the same trial, that could affect my client. He's not even on the thread responding. Yes, his name is attached to the thread, but he didn't even say nothing. You know, so, and I don't label Didi a snitch for that. Sometimes severing from some of your co-defendants and having to be tried separately, it could be done tactically, you know, mix things up a little bit. So that doesn't make you a snitch at all. But once again, y'all can go over to Doggy Diamonds channel and check this out. But his co-defendant spoke out, okay? Now, of course, you also got to deal with people like this. Whack 100. When I say people like this, it's because Whack 100, he obviously, with the whole 100 side and the exposers team that he put together, he doesn't run his ship so it seems like a 1090 Jake. 1090 Jake has controversy around him. There's times when people has attacked him. I don't know all the ins and outs of his background, 1090 Jake, so it's not like I'm here trying to stamp the guy, but from me watching his content over time, one thing that I do respect about 1090 Jake is he seems to be thorough. When I say thorough, meaning that he goes, he does his due diligence, he pulls, he purchases, he obtains paperwork, he reads, he gets his shit together, and then he comes out with his opinion. Not, well, sometimes fast, but I'm saying he present then his opinion. And that's why he's been kind of given the whole like, hey, what does 1090 Jake think? Because he's been pretty thorough. Whack 100, even within like the last 6 months, it seems like at least on 3 different occasions, he's labeled people snitches and he didn't even have any supporting information to do so. The T Grizzly one is the most recent one. It's just like you just jumped out. The Lil Zay Osama is another one. You're just jumping out. He's too fast to just call people a rat. Hey, I think you should have spent 5 years there instead of 2 years. You're a rat. You're a rat. You're a rat. Like he breaks all the street codes and he's a street nigga, right? And he served prison time. So, you know, I'll say this before we get into this part of the clip. The reason why we have to just understand how to navigate that when we pay attention to what Wack says, because he's absolutely my entertainment. And we're going to continue to see him on this podcast featured. Okay. He's entertaining this shit. But speaking of the word content, he admits it. Okay, when he was explaining with academics, after he had the argument with Dogface related to T Grizzly's accusations of him telling over the alleged burglary of his jewelry from his crib, what did he say? At the end of the day, this is content. They did content on me for 3 years. I'm just doing the same. It's content. And the bloggers are getting to eat too. If a man is willing to admit that in the midst of accusing T Grizzly of being a snitch, he's showing you what he represents on the internet when it comes to this type of content. So you always got to take his shit with a grain of salt. That's not my opinion. That's his own words. But still, he has a big voice. He has a platform. He has a bunch of resources. He'll call up 6ix9ine, academics, No Jumper, Trap Lil Ross, have them all post your shit, and next thing you know, there will be a campaign against you for being an alleged snitch. All right, so this isn't new for Wack.
His brother called me.
And said what?
He ratted on him.
Not the wave god.
You want me to play it? He's sending me to work.
Sure.
Right? They smoke him up. They kill somebody up in there doing a robbery.
Because like somebody tries to intervene. Yeah.
Right? Everybody get away. Max B get questioned.
Mm-hmm.
He tells him what club that the female works at and what project building she live in.
Oh.
He identifies the chick. They snatch the chick. The chick then identifies Pooh Sims.
Mm-hmm.
We found an appeal where his brother called me.
And said what?
He ratted on him.
Not.
He gave him the information on the chick. That was a violation. We seen that. But then it was a sealed file. Right? I said, so some in this sealed file. He said, but Wacky was right. I said, what you mean? He said, when dude came back, he put everything on me. Said, I did everything. He put everything on me. That's how he got his time knocked down. Okay, yeah, so this Pooh, look. So you saying the new information he gave them, they can use against you. If you go back on the appeal, overturn it, they can use the new information to rebook you.
Yeah, they can use the new information because this is testimony that he gave them when he went.
So that's the two things. As far as the snitch allegation, there's two things that Max is fighting. And I did watch the recent 1090 Jake video. 1090 Jake's take of it, just to summarize for anybody that didn't see it, he pretty much ends his video saying Max B is not a rat. Okay. But here's the two issues that he's still going to have to fight. It's like 1090 Jake is one person. You still got the Wacks of the world. You still got people with their own opinions. Hell, you could have people that don't like Max, whatever, and they're going to believe what they want to believe. And plus, these rules be so different, right? So here's the two things. One, you have a co-defendant speaking out against you, saying that you did him bad. That's always going to be a, right? They wanted to hear from Roscoe when everybody was talking about Young Thug's interrogation audio, right? Who else recently did they want to hear the co-defendants of? Sue Surf, right? That was pretty big. The co-defendant coming out and saying like, no, as far as him taking a plea and us all taking a plea, we're all in the same boat together. Sue Surf is good, right? So we see that the co-defendants matter, you know, whereas it could be opposite. You could have a situation like this guy calling around. Who else? Big Meech's co-defendant, right? He's speaking bad against Meech. So, but there's different reasons why we see the co-defendants get crazy, right? 1090 Jake is alluding to after he breaks his shit down with Max B, like, nah, his co-defendant is more so like it's a jealous thing. You know, like, all right, she gets 15, he gets 17 to 20, whatever. He's home, she's home, he's serving life, but he's also the trigger man. Right. So you could balance it how I haven't read the paperwork yet, and nobody showed me this paperwork yet that Wack just mentioned. So having a co-defendant speak against you will always be a okay. The second thing, which is what Wack said, the giving up the location of the girlfriend. Depending who you speak to in today's era, everybody's gonna treat that different. Okay. This is once again his ex-girlfriend that allegedly gave everybody the drop on the potential target and lick because she's around and shit. That's why, by the way, sidebar, when I go to clubs or whatever and we do our little thing or whatever, and we got to hand over the ID and the credit card, you know, so they can walk off and charge it for your table or whatever like that. I want to say this carefully online. I'll say it like this. Be careful what ID you give away, right? Because you just never know. That bottle girl that's smiling in your face and pouring your liquor all night, you never know if she's going to back, take a quick picture of your ID because she sees you motherfuckers came and ran up a tab for 20 grand or some shit. Everybody done pulled up outside with luxury vehicles or whatever, and she passes that allegedly to the Max B. You get it? But anyway, going back to that, 1090 Jake had that in his video as well. The same thing that Wack 100 just said, which is that now when Max B is in custody and he's being questioned, he tells the detectives where this ex-girlfriend works. For example, she, as far as this girl that's involved that y'all talking to me about, she works at Magic City. You guys could get in the chat and tell me flat out how you feel about that. Is this like people's gonna say, well, that's something that they already know, or telling somebody where somebody lives, that ain't, I mean, where somebody works, that's not putting you in the crime. You know, we're talking about this whole situation in a hotel where there's a robbery going on and somebody ends up losing their life. If he spoke about that, then you's a whole rat. But instead, he just said where she works. That's not ratting. Everybody's gonna treat that different. You know, like, if I'm with you and we get in trouble together, if I feel like any information you give them on me that can be used against me, whether I get in trouble for it or not, I would look at you funny. So you guys take that how you want to take it. Little gray area there for some people, okay? So that's the second thing when it comes to the snitch thing. Speaking of shorty, here she is, Gina Conway. All right, who is Gina Conway? All about Max B's ex-sentence alongside rapper over fatal 2006 hotel robbery. Okay. On November 9th, American rapper Charlie Wingate, though stage name as Max B, was released from prison after serving 16-year sex sentence for 2006 hotel burglary. So this is a recent article that came out, I assume, within the last 48 hours. Actually, this is a new picture of him right now too, right? Ain't it? Yeah, November 10th. Oh shit, this was published today. There you go. All right. The X. Let's get more down to the X. More about Max B's ex-girlfriend. Here we go. According to the Red Bull Music Academy website, Max B met Gina Conway through his collaborator turned rival, Jim Jones. Oh shit. I didn't read this before. I didn't know that. All this drama that Max B and Jim Jones have, the girl that he ends up in this big criminal case with, he met through Jim. Motherfucker, you still doing all these interviews mad at me, nigga? The bitch that you introduced me to, I end up getting in trouble. You not putting me around good people. Nah, I can't play the blame game with that. But damn, I didn't know that. But anyway, I'll still say allegedly. At the time, Conway was living in North Carolina and had booked a backstage meeting with the Diplomats, also called the Dipsets. However, the majority of the group members did not show up, except Jones, who was there with Max. She soon began dating the coke wave rapper, left her decade-long relationship, and moved to Harlem, New York, where they lived together. So they was even living couple. Okay. Gina Conway joined the local strip joint as Bigavelli was trying to make his name in the wave of music. Their romance was short-lived, and she soon moved back home, where she ended up living with Max's brother Mike. Ew. You just moving between the brothers like that? Y'all let that go down? You gonna live with her? All right. According to Gina Conway's testimony at Wingate's jury trial, key word right there, testimony. All right. She met Alan Plowden on the street in September 2006, and they ended up in a wealthy man's room at a Holiday Inn in Fort Lee, New Jersey. Later, she told his ex-boyfriend or her ex-boyfriend, Max, about Plowden, and together they orchestrated a robbery involving Kevin Leardom. Conway testified that Alan was supposed to be at the club. Once again, more testimony about the lineup from her. However, when the burglars arrived, Plowden was still in a hotel room with a woman named Giselle Neves, who was later restrained by Conway and Leardom and robbed at gunpoint. Despite taking cash, expensive clothes, and jewelry, Gina and Kevin forced Plowden to call his partner, David Taylor, who was in another room down the hotel hallway. Leardom and Taylor ended up in the altercation, which eventually led later to his death and the shooting. When Gina Conway was tracked down by authorities and arrested, she claimed that Kevin shot at David and Max was the mastermind. I don't know what else you need to read there. So she gave up the people involved, as per reports. She also confessed to being under the influence of drugs and alcohol during the incident. Well, there goes Alicia Andrews type shit again. For anybody that's not catching up with some of the streams we've been doing for the Julio Fulio trial coverage, her testimony and her angle with defense of I'm only there stalking Julio and lining all this up because I'm in an abusive domestic dispute, and this is my boyfriend that got me taking this road trip. You know, here you are, you this elaborate setup where somebody gets shot. And oh, by the way, I was under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Well, you tell that to the jury. You know what they're going to say? Well, pretty much, I'm just going to interpret that as your omission. And nobody beats crimes for doing them while they're drunk or high. If anything, it's like, oh, let's see what other laws we could tack on. You know, you're better off trying to go to primal fear route and just talk about like you was fucked up in the head on some training day type shit. Grab the peanut butter. Yeah. I'm the reference king for real. But 3 years after the crimes were committed, Max B, Kevin Leardom, and Gina Conway were sentenced to prison in 2013. Bigavelli's former girlfriend appealed for shorter sentence. However, it was denied by the prosecution. All right. So there you have it as far as who told. So the co-defendant that we saw earlier that was speaking on Doggy Diamond's phone call interview, you know, he was, as per reports, told on by this woman as well. Now, he still seems to have a thing against Max. And until we have that official paperwork in hand, we going to fall back, right? I don't know if in that Doggy Diamonds interview, he has anything to say about her, because the whole world at this point has read that she testified against both of them, Max and Dude, the co-defendant that got life for shooting. You know what I'm saying? So here she is. Max B's girlfriend was sentenced to 15 years for her role in the robbery turned murder with Max B and his brother. She's home already. The brother's still locked up, though. He got life plus 35 years for being the shooter. This is just somebody's comment. He's talking. Oops, my bad. I didn't mean to go back. He's talking like he knows them, but he says she told on both of them for a lighter sentence. Max B and his brother took it to trial and lost. Later down the line, they offered Max B a deal if he pleaded guilty to manslaughter and reduced his sentence to the state of New Jersey maximum 20 years. He did 80% of his bid, which is 16 years. So stop the shenanigans with my boy's name. Hold on. That could have also been what just happened to Alicia Andrews. Let me look that up for you guys real quick. Was Max B convicted of I'll still say first degree murder, comma, second degree murder, comma, conspiracy to murder or manslaughter. Let's see what it says there. Or manslaughter. Because I don't have his charges in front of me. Let's see. If it's the manslaughter, then Max B was not convicted of murder itself, either first or second degree. Here's the breakdown of his actual convictions from 2009 New Jersey case: conspiracy to commit armed robbery. Okay. Felony murder, meaning someone was killed during the commission of a felony. Aggravated manslaughter. He was acquitted of first degree murder and second degree murder charges. In total, he was sentenced to 75 years. Remember that. But later had his sentence reduced after a plea deal to around 20 years, and he's expected, so he's home now. Okay, yeah, the only thing that confuses me slightly there is felony murder, but then also under that scene, the aggravated manslaughter, because we know aggravated manslaughter in the state of Florida for what Alicia Andrews just went through, looks like she's going to get a max of 15 years, okay? But he got obviously over 15. It's not the same state. You never know if the guidelines change and the mandatories. But he got it knocked down at 20. So from that standpoint, doesn't look bad at all. And, you know, aligns with this comment right here, at least. But a comment's a comment. Okay. Let's jump back to now Jim. Okay. This is like the third, fourth issue that we're here. And some of us thought that Max B and Jim were going to have their turning point right here. I did. I was one of them. This is when Jim Jones and his son did a little photo op and video together. Maybe, I don't know how they crossed paths, but now, on one hand, you could say it's just honorable man shit. You know, the women and the kids ain't got shit to do with nothing. They are always to be left out of street beef and drama. I mean, your wife wasn't left out, right? Because we saw the shit involving Chrissy being disrespected by Max B. But even if the women is involved, because a lot of you are grown ass adult women, as for the girl that we just read about, y'all are demons too. But if anybody is ever to be left out of the equation, it's the kids, right? So it could have just been some honorable man shit of him moving like this when he came across Max B's son. Right, shake his hand. It's all good. I know, Lil, y'all met him before. Cool. Me and your father is me and your father. I would never dare give the energy to the child. Respect. But it obviously was not the turning point, because you still saw energy like this damn near any time Jim is asked about Max B.
Mention Max. Will you work with Max B when he gets
No,
out?
Max B.
Okay.
Max suck dick out of here.
All right. Okay. Has that conversation even come up though?
No, people don't play with me with that conversation. Ain't nobody can tell me nothing about that. That's the first thing I say. You heard?
Okay.
That's how you feel. That end the deal for anybody. There ain't no Max talking about conversation. Period.
Okay. French and Max. Will you work with Max B?
No, that's nothing new. I feel like we've seen that a million times over. Some interviews, he threatens people. Some he walked away. Some he let you get it off. There was one, who was it? Where he was just like, yo, because I respect you, I'm gonna let you, but the Queen's flip one. Like, he did a lot of them. There's nothing new. This energy right here. I salute him for consistency. All right. The whole terminology of keep that same energy, Jim has 100% fit that when it comes to Max B. And that's why I said on a prior stream recently, like, there's got to be more, because Max B has sent home messages and he was on audio calls from the pen like this year, like, oh, Jim, like, nah, like, I don't want no problems with nobody. He's sent that olive branch type of energy out from prison before his release. Jim has always met that with fire and fury. Fuck you, suck dick, but never, don't ask. I don't want none of my peoples around. Like, don't go to the Max B welcome home party. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. He's consistent. That's why I've always felt like there's something else there. There's something else. But I'm all in all now with Max being home. Especially with all this dust up and all this news. Is this what it looks like? Jim Jones is on his belly shit. I don't like that shit. I had to drop it down with them niggas. 50 Cent posted this. Hey, Max, that's one thing to learn about very, very fast. Some of these big platforms, if they on you and if it's in a negative way, be prepared to defend yourself, okay? Whack 100's platform, 1090 Jake's platform, Adam, No Jumper, Trap Lord Ross, Academics, even the Instagram of 50 Cent. But 50 Cent is not an adversary of Max B. 50 Cent is against Jim Jones. 50 Cent is notorious for playing divide and conquer and notorious for mixing shit like that with his petty level. So you see Who Kid right here on a FaceTime with Max B and French talking about possibly linking up 50 and Max B to do music. I wouldn't be surprised, and especially with 50 Cent posting this type of shit on his gram.
What up, my dude? Welcome home. Welcome home.
Thank you, man. Hey, yo, tell Boo Boo I said what up.
Oh, so let's work, man. He just dropped a new joint, so let's work. He's back in the studio. Let's work.
I say no more. I'm ready. Let's get it. I'm ready.
I'm just saying. 50 Cent is absolutely typing it. Like, I'm arguing with Jim Jones right now. Hey, Max, let's put this hit single out together. Good for Max. Oh man. Now let me weave in French, okay? Because I like how we're blending this shit on this coverage that we're doing here. I started out with the Mano thing and them being at the Jets game together. Mano has to stand like that alongside Jim Jones, not just because he said it publicly, just real man shit. You got to stand like that. French and Jim had beef, but they squashed it. Things have to change now that Max is home, though. Unfortunately, just is what it is.
The connection with French, the music, like that was dope.
That was a dope feeling. The bigger thing was that we were able to squash whatever beefs we had, and then know that we were bigger than what we had going on, us things bigger than what we had going on. Not to mention, no real physical harm nobody got.
Right. But everybody likes a good story at the end, you feel me?
Yeah, it definitely was a great story. 100%.
And good fucking music. At the end of the day, put all bullshit aside.
Shouts to French, though. He's definitely been putting on for the city for a long time. One of the few people in New York to do what he's done in his time. So I got to tip my hat to him.
The connect.
You know, I want to assume that was a genuine statement. You know, French is not little French from the DVD era. French, he went up there, right? Even from the fucking people he was dating. He put himself inside the Kardashian house for a moment. Now he's got the Princess of Dubai and shit. So French became a power player. His alignment with DJ Khaled and Rick Ross and everything, like French really, really came up. If you ask me, he surpassed Jim Jones, right? So I'm not trying to say that that's the reason why Jim Jones laid the beef. That I'm not implying that. I'm just saying shit, whatever. But ask yourself the real question. Me and you, French, we're good now, but Max is home. The first person he's running around and tearing up the whole city with is French. French is empowering Max right now. Here's the clothes. Here's the jewelry. We at the club. We over here. I got you because I came up now. And this is the expectation of what everybody thought what Max was going to come home to. The resources of French. Okay. Now, how does Jim Jones and French you just can't, because I'm pretty sure, like we said, Jim Jones is super consistent. Ask Jim Jones right now, if he lets you ask him, hey, Max is home. How you feel? He's going to say, fuck Max. Tell him to eat a dick. If I'm French and I hear you say that about my brother, we are splintered once again. And it's the same thing on the other side. You know, you just can't. You can't. And I think I'm pulling some of this shit together to remind people, just like we started with the Mano shit and Max Fieldside together in the same place after 48 hours, they cross paths just like that. So if the energy is bad, keep moving with the security, like I said early on. And it's for everybody. Everybody try to stay away from each other. But is this the real reaction to Jim Jones right here? Jim Jones, when he found out Max B actually got out of prison. 6ix9ine enters the chat any moment now to diss Jim Jones and Mel Murder. Watch. Mel Murder took the train. Max B running around tearing up the city with Fridge. Why you ain't take care of the way? I don't know why I'm predicting it, because I just know the terror and the asshole that 6ix9ine is, and I'd see the comparisons. I see the little tweets already and shit. But it's an actual beef, and the beef obviously has sprawled into the associates. The Mainos, probably the Dave East and the Fat. You never know. You know, if they got to stand alongside Jim a certain way. The Frenches, and we used to be cool, but now we got to splinter again, Jim. You know what I'm saying? The snitch allegations. And, you know, as we walk down all of that, I hope you guys peep like, oh, wow, like, it's not always all the peaches and cream. You can't just look at the nice smiling in the cameras. There's a lot going on for this guy coming out of prison. His hands wasn't clean when he went in, so why would they be clean when he came out? Right? But if you want to just close out this stream talking about them, or this topic talking about the music, I don't remember hearing this before. I think what was playing in the background is something new, but it sounds incredible. I remember that beat though. I do remember that beat.
It's your boy Big Bam.
Oh,
We back, Greasy. Back with that goon music.
Agree? Agree?
True. Doom ship. We gonna fire this shit up, man. No, it's been a good.
Older now, I do remember that beat. I do, but I don't know if they're in the studio together remaking it or whatever. Damn, I'm glad to get some music from Max B. But at the same token, he's got a lot of drama around his name. He's got to be careful. That's it. Okay. All right. Let me come over to some of the super. Shout out to Melly, gifting a membership today at 5:19. So around it, we started at 5:15. So thank you, Melly. Fresh into the stream. She sent y'all a gift. Hope somebody caught that. Our beautiful member and mod. Salute, love. Appreciate you. And of course, Jay, our beautiful member and mod, is here as well. She says, French is Dubai money now. He would make sure he could. And that's the thing where it's just like, you actually have that reason to have a problem with the side folk, because you empower, you give the platform, you give the money. Max B wouldn't be shit without this or whatever. I wouldn't have to deal with as much of his wave when he came home. It's just multiple reasons why French and Jim can't be cool. You know, you're gonna tell my brother to suck dick? Like, we got an issue again. You know, it is what it is. But hopefully no drama comes from all of this. Everybody just navigates this, try to stay away from each other, get your money. All these motherfuckers Jim is knocking on the door 50. Mano, he doesn't have to go close to all of this. Just stay loyal to Matt. Same thing with all the side friends and all that. Friends, you can stay away. Like Jay said, you got the Dubai money. Don't fuck that up. And Max, you just came home from serving 17. You don't want to go back. You know, the music is what we want. All right, everybody. I like that breakdown, that walk that we just did for Max's return. I've been watching people's Max B come home videos. I think we just did a good job there. So keep an eye out. I got some more topics that I want to cover. I'm going to cover the Lil Uzi Vert and Roc Nation sued for sexual harassment. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover the Kevin Mahal and Tyrese bumping into each other. I'm going to cover that. And I'm even going to cover the Sebastian Telfair NBA fall-off story that's going around recently. I'm going to cover all three of those, but I'm not going to do them live. So keep an eye on the channel for the clips. I wanted this Max one to be live with our whole chat, our afternoon crew again. So when it comes to live, I will catch y'all again tomorrow afternoon. But when it comes to the clips, keep your notification and subscriptions going, because there's going to be more content to come out even today. All right, I got y'all. We'll be back ASAP.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry Street Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.